Good evening there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the LG Ultragear presents the Esports Tec Gauntlet Season 4, powered by Crucial, and our apparel partners are none other than 656. We're now jumping back straight into the matchup for the 8 p.m. game. It's going to be your boy Aggressive, joined by none other than CCV, to present to you today's matchups one more time. So let's head on down over onto today's fixtures and see exactly which two teams are going to be playing. We already know who are going to be playing. I'm pretty sure you do back at home if you are following us on our socials, but CCV, for the 8 p.m. match, we do have God Particles going up against Flame On. God Particles,
Right.
you know how much I adore this team. They have stuck together through the thickest of thins. They're always going to be there to show us exactly what Valorant is meant to be when you stick together like a unit for the longest of times. But Flame On, now that's another squad that I am even more interested about, considering the fact that Flame On has a slew of changes, and it is like a mashup of really incredible players going up against one another, especially because of the fact that Rossi Kieran is also playing on that team. It
That is
looks to be
true.
quite an interesting affair.
I mean, it's a lot of different things and multiple aspects clashing against each other. If you have a look at these teams, you mentioned God Particles performing as a roster, sticking together. The four main players are there. I mean, even the five, all five members of God Particles. We'll have a look at their roster as well. But yeah, all members of God Particles are there. But here comes Flame On with a lot riding on the individuals, the members themselves on their shoulders. But as a team, how exactly, like where exactly does their synergy lie when you compare them to other members, or when you compare them to other teams and other members in them? That I think is going to be the primary factor. This is what
Yep.
happens a lot of the times. In the off season, we haven't seen a lot of off seasons here in South Asian Valorant. This was a major one in my opinion.
True.
No tournaments were there. The end of the year, season 4 Gauntlet, one of the initial tournaments of 2022, has started. And right now, well, this is exactly what we're going to be seeing. We're going to be seeing new stuff come out of the map, potentially, and hopefully the meta changes alongside the rosters as well.
That's the thing. That's what we always want to witness, but the start of 2022 was a pretty eventful one, I will have to say, with the sheer amount of changes from every single one of these teams, and
Right.
with the way that Flame On has completely mashed up together. That's where I'm really having the problem of trying to believe in the squad. And we're going to be heading on down over towards the group standings before we talk about this a little bit further, primarily because of the fact that Flame On, it's a lot of different players from Reckoning. There are two unknown players as well, and then there's Rossi Kieran also playing on this roster. Do you believe personally they're going to be able to take the win here? It's just really questionable because I have never seen any of these players play together other than the ex Reckoning members.
Reckoning players, exactly. That is a doubt that'll be embedded in the minds of, I think, the majority of the viewers. For now, I believe at the very least. Later on, okay, maybe sure, we can see Flame On improve more and more as the season progresses. We have seen that with multiple teams. I mean, you were mentioning Reckoning earlier when their old five-man roster was there in season 3. We saw a certain parts of improvement from their side as well, especially towards the tail end of the season. In my eyes, Flame On may follow suit to that. Right now, their start can be slow. Perhaps it may be slow. Depends on their future opponents as well. I mean, looking at Group B as well, it's not like they'll have a lot of easy matchups. Cutthroat teams are there. The best of the best in these regions are there. Enigma Gaming, arguably one of the favorites to take the whole season, are in this group as well. So, with all that being said and done, it's not like Flame On are going to have an easy journey. However, can they weather the storm? It's only a matter of time, and time is going to be their most valuable resource. They'll have multiple BO3s, many days. Season 4, especially the regular season, is going to take a while, and there are going to be a lot of matchups. So right now, I'd say it's going to be a slower start. This matchup More specifically, I believe God Particles already, before looking at the map, before looking at the agents, discussing about them, God Particles are at a higher pedestal. But later on down the road, I can see Flame On becoming just as good as Reckoning Esports were once.
Yeah, that is true. God Particles, they're just gonna get better and better as a squad because they've stuck together from pretty much the inception of Valorant. We always talk about the side of God Particles to be one of the few teams that have always kept their identity. It's primarily the three players that we always talk about. It's
Hmm.
Shivy, Knight Rider,
Scar.
and then Scar God. And now there's gonna be another face joining them as well once again. He's like it's not an old new face. It's a really
Hmm.
old one now coming back on towards the roster. We're gonna be talking about that later. But first of all, let us jump straight on into the intro for Team A being Flame On. Let's see what they have in store for us, how this roster is gonna look. Because in a way, we know how good Lost, Bondev, these two players really are, but for the other ones, it's a bit of a question mark, don't you think so, CCV? Because they have a lot to prove here. They have no track record playing together as a team. They are just
Hmm.
coming in together to play here on the Gauntlet, and this is their proving ground. It's either they go big here and pretty much get on everyone's radars by taking down one of the best teams for the tier 2 scene, or they just falter and try to scramble around in the middle of the tier 2 or tier 3.
I mean, at the moment, look, what I can say is the team themselves. Yes, you made an excellent point that, okay, yeah, the team proving grounds for them, the first time ever we'll be seeing them. I mean, for Rossi Kiran, it's his debut match, right? But as individual players, again, the point has to be said that they have the experience. And kind of like almost one can say yesterday, where we had, where our other 8 p.m. match was in Group A, not Group B like this, but in Group A. We had the side of Team T69. They had multiple roster changes. Sure, they had the majority of their team in a way still intact, but there were plenty roster changes. However, they still gave a good fight against True Rippers. Arguably, yes, they did lose 0-2 in that BO3. However, going on the map of Ascent 11-13 with a man down in the final few rounds with one of your members not being there, a 4v5 is there against a squad like True Rippers, that's still a good fight. That's still an excellent effort. So something tells me that Flame On will be able to take at the very least a fraction of that effort, and they'll be able to show to everyone a fraction of that effort as well. So I'm not going to say it's going to be a clean sweep 13-2, 13-3, something like that. I want to see, some sort of retaliation from the members of Flame On. But with all that being said and done, I think this is still a bit too early for them. I mean, there's no other way. The gauntlet waits for no one. You have to adapt
True.
yourself. However, in terms of their team's journey, they are in the early developing stages, and it's only going to improve as time passes on. For now, I think God Particles are still at a far more developed stage in how they are looking as a roster.
Yeah, they're just constantly evolving, constantly changing. In even after all of the different tournaments that they've won previously, I'm pretty sure they did get the coaching session from Team Liquid as well. You gotta remember, we were there. That was an interesting matchup for us to always host up and cast. And
Hmm.
we haven't really seen the fruits of that coaching just yet. And maybe here in the Gauntlet, that's where we're gonna be seeing. Let's go and check out God Particles themselves as they head on down over onto their team intro. And in a way, this squad, they will always hold a really, really close place in my heart, primarily because of the way that they play. Especially when you
Hmm.
consider the three musketeers, we always talk about them. But Logista and Ember. Now, Logista, this player has caught my eye the most in comparison to any other player from God Particles, primarily because whenever I look at Logista, it feels as though I'm looking at an incredible Cypher player. He reminds me of a lightning fast in the making, and also he has the potential to be a player like Nats, like Gambit Nats.
Hmm.
The way that he plays, it's just incredible. The way that he's able to go in for lurks with a Cypher, push into a sideline, get his team advantages single-handedly by himself, especially when you consider the map of Breeze. These are the facts that make a really good team. It's not the duelist, it's not the controller, it's not the initiator, but the sentinel player. If you have a solid sentinel player in your lineup, I'm pretty sure you're going to be the deadliest team in the entire world.
Now, you mentioned Philogista. I have to highlight two other key members with whom I have just associated the identity of a specific agent. The first is going to be Scargod and the Astra. I mean, there used to be a time where he didn't play any other agent other than the Astra. You load up
True.
into Ascent, you see Scargod in the agent selection screen. I could close my eyes and just say blindly, I did that once. I said he's going to pick the Astra. He did. And then on the other hand, you also have Shivi, who loves to play the breach.
Uh,
Yesterday, I said,
Yep.
yesterday we were having a look at One Tap God from True Rippers, and even he's an excellent up and coming breach player. The amount of
Yep.
value he gets out of his utility, especially his Rolling Thunder ultimate, it is far more significant than what you have seen on a regular basis. And the same thing can be said for Shivi as well. If we do see the maps of either Ascent, we are going to be seeing Astra, or if we do see Split, I hope we see Split, we may
Yep.
just expect a breach. Because even though yes, there have been roster changes in this God Particles lineup, I think the three Musketeers, they're going to stick to their own strengths, and it's going to be the other two
True. True.
members forming the final barrier, or forming the final line of defense, essentially, if I put it that way. So I'm going to be honest, yeah, they are going to be things we can already see, we have already seen from God Particles, but same time, there may be a different changes as well. There may be something out of the bag that may be pulling. As for Flame On, it's game on for them. They can do whatever they
Yep.
want, and nobody knows because nobody has even the slightest of idea what is in their strat book. Nobody has a dent of a clue what they
True.
can pull out of the bag, and that is what makes it exciting. Uncertainty for all the viewers makes everything exciting.
The element of surprise is pretty much on their side, but at the same time, what's not going to be a surprise are the maps that we have in store for you today.
Mhm.
Let's head on down over towards the map video screen and see exactly where these teams are going to be taking us, because maps are the most crucial part of this entire setup. And God Particles picking up the map of Breeze as the decider. I'm going to be holding that one right off the get go before we talk about map number one, because Haven and Ascent, we always see this. We know for a fact they're going to be coming on down on the number one or the number two. But
Mhm.
Breeze being the decider is pretty much the done and dusted thing. They know for a fact that they're going to be able to play Breeze better. They have stuck together as a team for the longest time. They have the better communication, possibly here in this situation, because we don't know anything about Flamon. So the fact that God Particles have that strength and that crutch map right at the very end, even if it goes down to 3 sets, we know for a fact that Breeze is going to be theirs. So I do believe that Flamon, unless they take both Haven and Ascent and take a 2-0 set, God Particles, they are in the runnings to win all of it.
I would have to agree that yeah, right now if it goes to the decider map, God Particles can be looking better. I mean, surely will be looking better. You mentioned Regista, you mentioned a Cipher, and even just the synergy in the aim duels. Yeah, one can say Breeze is a little more reliant on aim duels compared to other maps, but you still need that synergy element. It's a big map. It's a wide WAM map. You need to cover ground, and you need your controllers to act up as well. Moving on over to Haven and Ascent, we can still expect. I mean, I want to see a breach from the side of God Particles here. From Flame On, I'm not really sure what to expect. I think that they will be following the meta. I think they will be going for double initiator as well, much like God Particles. But at the same time, one can't really be too certain what we can expect from the side of Flame On. So that's why Haven as well, talking about the agent selection screen, everything is just clouded and shrouded by this mystery of what to expect from the side of Flamon, what to expect from this newly formed roster. And that's what makes it exciting, like I've said. But at the same time, it does make it slightly interesting for God Particles. Now, I think God Particles in this instance, they won't be focusing. I mean, they can't focus on like counter stratting your opponents or like studying them. There is nothing to study. This is a newly formed roster. You just have to play to your strengths. And the thing is, for God Particles, for majority of their members, Flame On know the strengths. Are they going to take a gamble, knowing that this is their first match, knowing that playing risky can be only one of the ways to take one of the initial two maps? Are they going to go for something along the lines of countering exactly what God Particles likes to play, or are both the teams just going to play the meta and it's going to be a regular game of Valorant essentially? I would say that both the options are, I mean, they are quite realistic, but at the same time, one can't really be certain to what to expect from teams because after all, aggressive, they say South Asia, and we know what
Yeah,
happens in South Asia. We know these teams,
they
they
love the
do
meta.
whatever they want. Exactly.
Like the thing with God Particles is that they will follow the meta and they will never shift away from it. Like Shivi, he is the IGL. We know his IGL playstyle. He's never gonna shift away from the meta anytime soon. But the thing is, what can we consider from the agent selection coming out from God Particles? We know for a fact what they like to play. It's either gonna be a Sky pickup or a Breach with a double initiator composition. They're never gonna stray away from that. That is a staple for them, and that will always stay the same for Haven. But with Flame on, I do believe they could be going in for a double duelist comp because of the way Bondef plays. But also on the other side, there's a possibility that Bondef is going to be the one to play the Sky. We have seen him play Sky here on Haven on multiple different occasions, even though personally I prefer his duelist playstyle with the Phoenix. Him on a Phoenix, he has so much presence and so much girth when it comes down to controlling the map that he's able to just give Flame on a massive opportunity to take map control away. And Haven is a map that is purely based upon map control. That's why Double Initiator is such a powerful suit on this map, especially when you have something like a Breach. But the thing is, to play with a Breach, you need to make absolutely no mistakes. You need to know when to get aggressive, when to go in for the mid control. And if you don't have the mid control, you need to fight for it. That's where the double initiator composition is the strongest. If you're able to have control on different avenues of the map, it will give you an advantage. But if you have a double duelist, you have that extra little bit of firepower to go in for fast side executions. These are the different concepts that both of these teams are going to try and juggle as they go into the agent selection. We're still waiting for that to get set up, the teams to get ready. But CCV, I want your
Mhm.
thoughts. As you just stated, I'm expecting the meta, and you're expecting
Right.
something absolutely random.
I want that, but I don't think I'll be expecting that. I think I'll be expecting either just like double duelist or double initiator. If you're asking for my rational prediction, one of those two is gonna happen. What I want isn't necessarily what will happen.
A
I
Euro.
mean, that's just true. So, but yeah, expectation wise, I think both the teams are going to go a rather safer route. Considering this is the first match you're going to play, considering you don't know the caliber of the other teams just now, how much they have improved. But what we do know is that these teams surely must have improved. And what we do know is we can see how much they have improved by jumping into the game. Before we jump into the game aggressive, we have to have a look at the agent selections and the compositions these teams will be running. Flame On already have selected their entire comp, and well, they will be playing the double initiator. They have opted for the meta. As to the side of God Particles, we are going to be
Same
seeing
thing.
Logista pick up the Cypher, and yeah, I think it's going to be mirror comp as well.
You know what makes me happy? To see
Mm-hmm.
Whitehorse back in the fray.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's no
That's
longer
true.
the three musketeers, it's the four. They're all together once more. Like, back in the old God Particles, when I was still casting during the Challenges series, is almost a year ago when Valorant still came out. Like, I feel old now. Back in September, when I was still casting God Particles, they had this four-man roster. And I have to say, I still miss all of it. Such beautiful games from these four players. They have pretty much stuck together through the thickest of thins to bring us insane Valorant action. And now that they're back here once again as the four-man unit, I personally do believe we're gonna be in for a treat once more. God Particles, they've gone back to their roots while every other team have gone to, I don't know. Like all hell broke loose throughout the entirety of Valorant, and now God Particles they're going back to where they pretty much begun from. So, in that sense, here CCV, let's
Mm-hmm.
just see how the map of Haven is gonna play out. I don't think we can make a lot of predictions. Both of the compositions are exactly the same. Whoever plays
Right.
Valorant better will be the one to win.
And whoever plays Valorant, I mean, yeah, still there's so many aspects to consider. Is it going to be whoever clicks more heads, whoever can have the better strategy? As the strategy of Flame On right now is to go for a heavy backstab. There's the Cypher Tripwire. It has been alerted, but
Strong mid control.
it still lends Rossi to get the opening kill onto Shivy. The Cypher spy cam. It spots every single member of God Particles pushing into the bomb site, but every single member of God Particles right now has died, except for 3. They are still alive. However, they are being surrounded everywhere. Left, right, center are the members of Flame On. And God Particles, well, they don't really have a choice. They have to brute force their way in. Night Rider pushing into Haven. He loses his life. Lucia, White Horse gets 1 kill. It is still a 2v3. However, a lot of the time has run out, and God Particles will be looking to plant the spike on B.
Oh, this is bad. Paddock's easy kill for him. He's not gonna miss that one. And it's Logista's turn. Logista, my boy, what you gonna do with 1 HP? Not really much at this stage because he's stuck between a rock and a hard place, slowly pushing his way up. Maybe if he just gets the spike plan down, that's gonna be the silver lining for him, but other than that,
30 seconds
he pretty
left.
much has nothing.
Planted the spike.
He's gonna try his best. I mean, getting the spike down is good, but now Paradox just rips his head apart. So yeah, a good economic boost. However, Flame On a great round, and that I mean, having a look, at what just happened, it essentially tore apart the side of God Particles because such a heavy-handed flank this early into the round. And because of which, Shivi just almost immediately lost his life, forced God Particles to just push into the bomb side. They were like, there's no point falling back, there's retaliation behind, why not push into the bomb side? But that led to even more casualties, and then everyone on the attack side was just spread apart, and it just wasn't a good scenario for those members. However, well, God Particles, they're going for something interesting here, Grayson. They have gone a full-on force buy. They are forcing their way. Now, this is a risky tactic. Flame On, they've got 4 Spectres as well, but they have the full armor. I mean, it's a game of armor. Meanwhile, God Particles, they're looking to rush up. The Guiding Light, it does flash Rossikiran for a second. However, he gets the kill onto White Horse and retreats successfully, not entirely successfully. Scargod takes him down, and we have already a trade in front of us. Okay, I mean, Scargod pop off and Logista as well with another kill. And this force buy from God Particles essentially means that Flame On, well, yeah, they have lost it. Scargod just entirely popped off on A long, and the thing was, everyone was just appearing in his crosshairs, and everyone was falling by the wayside. Now, Paddock's all alone. He has got full armor. He has got a bit of agility. However, his location is known now even more so thanks to the thanks to the recon bolt, sorry. And he will be falling back. However, just imminent placement of the shock dart. Paddock gets 1. Endless remaining. He's gonna go for the reload. Yeah, I mean, God Particles, they have this round secured.
Okay.
That's the kill for Shivi. And a great round thanks to Scargod and him entry fragging down here.
Hey, Scargod just went on down through and he's like, yo, I'm the Sky, but I think I can become an entry fragger Sky as well. Beautifully done from his part to understand how much of the angle he can get away with. Took the fights, took the flashes, and he was able to get the kills. And with that, they get a beautiful thrifty round right off the get-go. This is what I mean. I do believe personally that God Particles have the highest percentage of thrifties other than Enigma, because of course Enigma, they have RPK, and you can never count that guy out. And in that sense, with this thrifty, it's gonna switch up the entire flow of the match even further. Before, it was already a coin toss, and it's going to be even more difficult now to try and predict how all of this is going to go through. But Logista, he's going to make it a lot more simpler for me by taking out Pondef right off the get-go. This is an eco round, mind you, ladies and gentlemen, from the side of the defenders, and Logista is going to be able to walk away with a second. And slowly but surely, he's also pushing up.
He certainly is. And now the members of Flame On, they're right here on the brink of the bomb site. Night Rider, he's pushing through, and he does land the shots onto Lost. However, Lucia, he does confirm that trade. Not only that, but it's going to be Rossi with that headshot from the Sheriff, allowing him to pick up the rifle. Oh, sorry, pick up the Spectre if he wants to. He did pick it up. However, Logista also picked up a 3k for him in this round. And God Particles take their second. Albeit, yes, they did suffer 2 casualties in this eco. However, they won't mind it too much. What God Particles are still happy about is that they won their first buy. They still have decent money in the bank, but when compared to Flame On, this is their all in. This is them literally throwing in all the chips on the table, hoping that it lands on a straight flush, because if it doesn't, Flame On will be down a significant amount of rounds. So this essentially is a pretty influential round for the defenders to win, and it is starting right now.
It's gonna start right here and right. But White Horse, he should be the first one to take a peek, and poor old White Horse gets caught out, but still, hey, Knight Rider, he got the trade regardless, so it's not the end of the world, but technically it is the end of the world, because now you don't have your Astro on the side of attack. That's going to be a rough one, but trades are going in left and right. Not even a single angle is being given away or a single kill has been taken without a trade happening instantaneously. Prosecutor, though, he's holding down through with his operator, and Skargon, he does this way too often. He just holds the dog at one angle, forces them to shoot it, and he just like, yo, I'm gonna jiggle the dog. I'm not gonna jiggle myself.
Right, and okay, well, Rosigran has been spotted. He has to fall back. Pondef, on the other hand, he is looking for information. However, the Astral Nebulas, they are making things difficult. Now it is turned into a 1v1. Chester is right here, and he picks off the head. Another 3k for this man, and that is going to be an operator. Perhaps it will be retrieved. So another great round for God Particles, because not only was it another 3k, and we all love 3ks, they happen way too often, but more so the economic damage they have done to Flame On. You know, God Particles are fine that they lost 4 members. They just wanted to win the round, because yet again, Flame On, although they have the 3 ultimates and GP have none, they can't really do much except for, well, Rosigran, who will be using his Blade Storm. Right now, the Cosmic Divide, you know, the Neural Theft, they won't be of much use, because even if you go for retakes or something like that, what are you going to do with sheriffs against phantoms and vandals? So God Particles are in an extremely comfortable position right now. They know they have the advantage. They know this round is under the bag as well. They just have to play calmly, minimize the damage, minimize the casualties faced, and then move on over to the next round with an increased round lead by 1.
It's all about the slow, methodical play that they can go in for, but for now, at least, on the better side of the map of Haven, we already are noticing that God Particles, they're establishing that lead for themselves. Just as you stated, they need to figure something out here. Flame On, they're going in for very textbook level strategies with the double initiator composition that they're running. And I have to say that the pistol round play that they were going in for right off the get-go with extremely aggressive mid control, I personally love that, because they were utilizing what they have as a double initiator composition to the best of its own abilities. But currently they're gonna be doing it once again on an eco round, going in for a full-scale rush from C-Long. They gained the information, but all the members of God Particles, they know that there was a high possibility for that rush onto C-Long to happen, but Logista! Now you see what I'm talking about here, CCB. Oh, shimmy! Clean little flick of the wrist there. Takes down one more. And now the last 2 members are remaining, and a possible flawless round to come on down through as well. Lucia, I know you're good, buddy, but against this, it's just not gonna happen.
Lost is all alone. Spike has been planted. He's looking for exit frags, but I don't think he'll be getting any. That is unless Skargod pushes through, and he is looking to push through. He did spend one of his guiding lights, but he's not checking the angle, and that allows the Sova to pick off 1, perhaps a second, 2 bullets. Now that'll be a single kill. So like I was saying, minimize the casualties. Perfectly fine for God Particles. Flame On is under a lot of pressure right now. I mean, it is the defensive side that has to be looked at the moment. I get it. Haven can favor the attackers a bit. However, it shouldn't be an extreme margin, not in this case. And God Particles right now, well, they are running away with it. We are going to be going into another full buy versus full buy. Only difference is how much money is in the bank. And yet again, this round can be played based on ultimates. We have a total of 5 ultimates on board, combining all 10 of the players. So I think ults are going to play a big factor rather than just gameplay. And we are seeing a pretty quick A rush coming in from the side of the attack. And Knight Rider has dived into the bomb side, clearing out the angles. And well, Flame On have entirely given C control to the attackers, waiting for a retake.
He's gonna take it slow a little bit here, but not really going as far as you would have expected, but still Paddox catches out Knight Rider, who was being a little bit too overly aggressive. That's the first initial headshot, that's gonna be killed, and they need even Lucia doesn't find that shot, but Skargon turns around, kills out Rossi Kieran. What? Skargon, he's looking for more. Drop darts are gonna be raining on down through, and he's not gonna miss that one tap. He's looking for one more, doesn't find it. Instead, it's gonna be Logistics from the sideline, being able to shut down one. Paddox will be initiating a trade, but he's not gonna be the one to take down Paddox from the side. It's all up to Shimmy. He gets a recon bolt. He gets a beautiful shot, and I do believe there's more than enough time. He has an operator. He has nothing to worry about. He can just play around with his food for as long as he possibly wants. Swings out, takes the fight, and Lost is just not going to be able to have enough time to go in for a defuse or
and he dies.
the operator itself. 1-5 scoreline, man. And that round nearly just fell apart in a couple of seconds, and then everyone was able to pick up the pieces. You have to give it to Shivy. That recon bolt was perfect.
I mean, more than the recon mode, how he played this. Sure, he may have died, but does it really matter in the larger scheme of things? No, it obviously doesn't. It allowed God Particles to get another round on board, and look what it has forced upon the members of Flame On. Yet again, their buy isn't looking strong. Knight Rider now all alone, pushing through a shot. Risky tactic. He spots one, but there's someone right next to him. Lost. He is not peeking. The other person who did peek was Lucia, not in A, but rather on C. He lost his life, and now Knight Rider he is not aware the amount of trouble he can be in. It's all dependent on Lost, and Lost isn't doing anything. I guess he's waiting for him to push up a shot. But that's not going to happen. Since we just saw a kill happen on C Long, the attackers are going to regroup all of their efforts. You can see Stargod on Garage, clearing out Garage, and then everyone else pushes on C as soon as they know Garage is clear. Great use of information, great execute, and I think this is going to be a great post-plant as well, considering it's a 3v5.
That's where the hard parts are starting to begin. Information being given away. They know exactly where the last couple of players are going to be at. Knight Rider. He just W swings the corner. It's going to be the one to take down the first. And Paddox, he's playing a different game out here other than Valorant, but everyone else, they're just going to shoot him down and make sure he knows he's playing the right one. 1-6 on the scorecards, and the beautiful tune of death being played by the Champions Vandal. It's a 1-6 score, and one by one, the rounds are just slipping away. Flame On, smart move from Bondef to take the tactical timeout here already to try and stop any form of the momentum that has already been gained by God Particles. Go in for a full-on mental reset and try to figure out what exactly is going wrong. And CCP, I want your thoughts. What do you think personally is breaking the entirety of Flame On apart? Because I feel as though they're not taking enough initiative and they're allowing God Particles to dictate the pace of every single one of the engagements that they are taking.
I mean, it's not only that, but even the ones they are taking, they're just, putting themselves in vulnerable, not advantageous positions at all. If you look at the last round, it was not necessary for Lucia to be the only person in C to push up C long. I can understand why he was saying that would be fine. He would be confirming information that, okay, we just spotted the jet on the side of God Particles towards A shot. Maybe the members are near mid, near B. You know what? Let me clear out C so I can tell my team there's no one C, guys, worry on the A and B bomb sites. However, again, it landed him in trouble because he went into unknown territory. So not only is it Flame On are not taking enough gunfights or are not initiating enough gunfights, rather it's the ones they even are just aren't the best gunfights overall, plain and simple. I think I would much rather see them, I would much rather see them be passive, fine enough, but at least stick together and don't give unnecessary picks.
Completely agree with you there, and hopefully they're going to be able to do something as such. Paddox, his entire life flashed before his eyes for a couple of seconds there. 3 players holding down that one specific angle, but still, I was going to highlight Rossi with the operator, but it feels as though he's not going to be the one to chime in through at the very beginning. Instead, it is going to be Knight Rider. Lucia, though, shuts down Logista on that lurk, and that lurk getting taken down this early, it's going to be all that they need to bring this one back. Bondef though from the side. He's not going to be able to find that kill. That's going to be a little bit difficult for him, but lost from the sidelines. He's going to be able to tag out one of the players on towards the back end of it all. And now the defenders, they're in a pretty prime position to take this one away. But Scargod, look at where he is. He's moving from Garage. He has the angle. He's gonna be able to spawn out one. He's gonna be able to take down 2. Scargod, he walks away with murder. Communication breakdown from them all. Lost is gonna be able to find 1 kill as he's running around the corner, but against an operator, against Knight Rider, he's not gonna miss that shot. Lost knows one more player's gonna be holding. Shivy, you gotta be careful how you take this fight. Spidey sense is tingling. He knows he's gotta get out of this.
I love Shivy in these scenarios. I know he's playing it smart.
Oh, he's just toying with this. He's toying with this.
Man, that was lovely. Shivy, oh man.
He never takes a fight by himself. He will always facilitate his team. He's a team player. He doesn't care what happens to him as long as he wins the round.
Shivi is one of the few Sovas who facilitates team plays not by his utility, but genuinely, quite literally using himself, using
He's
his
a
body in the
living,
sun.
breathing drone.
But that was really good, especially towards Garage. And the shoulder peaks, the pixel peaks. I mean, everything was lovely. We've seen Shivi do this multiple times. We saw him do that in a 1 versus 1 scenario on C as well. It's just lovely stuff. It's just stuff that usually doesn't end up on highlight reels. It's not a 3K, it's not headshot, but it's still very smart and just cheeky Valorant. And that's what I love to see. In a very serious game with very serious teams, a lot of money on the line, cheeky Valorant just holds a special place in my heart. But right now, for these teams, they don't have to play by heart. They have to play using their minds. And Side and the minds of Flame on it should be telling them that there's something near on A, and they should be careful. Already we see a single casualty. The Trailblazer spots out the sky to play towards the back of the bomb site. Lost is the surprise element right here. And his judge in close quarter combat can be deadly, however aggressive. I don't think God Particles in their plan is to execute on A. I think seeing how the spike is getting rotated over, they have something else in mind.
They're looking to see if they can get a little bit more of an avenue to work with here, but pretty much Knight Rider, he's been such a good player on these type of situations, but Knight Rider going in for an angle fight alone and pretty much giving away the operator towards your opposition, it's gonna be a tough one. I do believe that the calls for the other side that are coming down through, but the operator that was lost by Knight Rider is now causing so much damage, but still Scargon's gonna be good for one, immediately swings out, it's gonna be able to take a second, so in a way, damage control is already here. It's 1 and 7, 2 versus 2. But the fact is, the defenders, they have an Astra with an ultimate ready. But on the silver lining of it all is that they have no guns. So God Particles, they should win this.
Or
A little bit too soon. Caster Search right there.
But, you know, honestly, it wasn't this. I mean, obviously, the 2v2 was like, okay, with Sheriffs, you were against Rifles, he still won it without a single casualty. That was nice, but it was more about just quite literally going into the, like, crosshairs of loss. That should not have happened from the members of God Particles when he was playing right there on A shot. Three deaths right there. The same angle, the same fight. All of them were trying to achieve the same objective. When in reality, you could have, yes, like one of the members just pushed up from A long, try and win the gunfight against Lucia, the Cypher, and then kill Lost. But now those 3 kills were just completely unnecessary. Regardless, well, Flame on, good for them. They do get their second round on board. But like you were mentioning, Aggressive, damage control should be here. And I'm not talking about the man count. I'm talking about the round count. Only 2 rounds on board as of now for the side of Flame on. God Particles have 7. So we still have 3 more rounds to go in this first half. I don't think Flame on will be winning all 3 of them. But an 8-4 scoreline should be decent enough. They have to put in a bit of legwork towards this tail end of the first half.
Knight Rider though, he's looking for that first initial peak, and if Rossi he swings out towards this crosser vicinity, it's gonna hurt him quite a little bit. But I do believe because of that owl drone, it's gonna give the players over towards A long an opportunity to get a little bit closer. But I like this. Knight Rider, he's not playing it overly aggressive anymore, but the operator's already been given away. They know exactly where it's gonna be at, and Rossi, he needs to jump down into a better angle, but this is not a better angle for them. This is a tough one, and it's gonna be Scargon trying to go in for the refrag. Doesn't really find it. Instead, it's gonna be Knight Rider who needs to be the difference maker for his own squad. Pushing out, that's gonna be the first initial body. They spot on one of the players. One-way smoke has been put up, but the one-way is favoring the defenders a little bit more than the attack. Favoring the attackers more than the defenders here.
30 seconds
Hey,
left.
be it the smoke or not, the guns certainly are favoring the defenders because Bondef, much like his teammate, picks up a double kill and now Logista is stuck all alone. Earlier, we saw him almost getting a 1v1. We have seen him pull off these clutches, but right now it's a 1 versus 3. His HP goes down to 84. He's in the gravity well. The shock dart is affecting him. He's got 11 seconds and everyone is going to start converging on him as soon as the spike goes down, which it does. He has multiple angles to hold, multiple people to check. He gets one, that's all he'll be getting. One Cypher gets rid of another, and Flame on get their third. So now God Particles, the weakness, the major weakness for their side can, and I think Flame on have realized, it is the initial few kills. If you can somehow shut down the execution of God Particles, prior to the execution happening, they are just left one-legged. They are just left with crutches, and they don't really have a way to execute them. That's when God Particles start getting a bit desperate. They are still going to use their utility. They'll still have smokes. It's going to be a good execute, but it's going to be a rushed execute. It's going to be it's not going to be a full-on proper execute because they have lost the man count. So Flame On have got to realize that, okay, we can't play for retakes. We have to show early retaliation, then the reinforcements, then the second layer of our defense can opt for the retake.
But the thing is, God Particles, they're constantly going in for the same side execution. They're always running away. Yeah, that's the thing. They're gonna play this on a retake. And the Hunter's Fury, do you see how much value it got? It tagged out 4 players.
Spike planted.
That is true, but I mean, majority of them have been healed thanks to Star God's hero. I mean, let's see how this pans out. We do have, well, from the side of God Particles, the Cosmic Divide go through. However, Flame On, they get the opening kill, the Shock Dog, excellent placement, tags a bunch of members, and you can see everyone from Flame On has just grouped up right here towards Defender Spawn. They're going to be dashing in 4 members together. God Particles have a lot of people to check. The Recon Bolt spots out a lot of members. Logista, White House, both of them get one. However, retaliation is present from Flame On. God Particles members were just left all alone under heaven. And Flame On, they do.
The 5-man rush.
They do take the round, yeah.
What just happened here? An absolute utter chaos. They all run through the wall. No one has any idea what is happening. The players from Under Heaven still waiting inside of Under Heaven. Whitehorse still going in for the spray on the front. Rossi coming in from the side. Takes down one more, and then as soon as the wall dissipates, Logista finds a trade, but Lost is going to be able to find the immediate refrag. It was just a tradeception throughout the entire roundup, and I love that. But at the same time, this is not how this round should have gone at all. 2 players holding from Under Heaven. I understand, you're playing from hell, you don't want to give away your position, but your position is already revealed when you got that first initial kill. You already need to take that swing, because Whitehorse is pretty much on his own trying to take that fight. And God Particles, small little bits of miscommunication is costing them a couple of these rounds here, but Lost, his position is primed, and he's going to be able to find that first kill with Lost here and being able to take one from the side. But Shimmy and Logista, they're going to be able to find so much more. Shimmy, he's an absolute madman. It's going to be the one to shut down the last players on towards the side of the flank. Paddock's position is already known,
Spike planted.
and there's no way that he's gonna be able to find this one out.
Maybe. Oh no, just spots him,
timing.
gets the kill. But yeah, a good round. I mean, the early round was not the best from God Particles. I think, yeah, Flame On certainly have realized that, okay, God Particles, their defense can absolutely crumble to shreds if we stop. Sorry, God Particles and their attack can absolutely crumble to shreds if we stop that execute. After the execute happens, if it goes to a post-plant scenario, yes, our chances of winning do reduce. We can still win, but they get reduced significantly. So Flame On, now, yes, obviously the side swap has happened. 8-4 is the scoreline. They won't be on defense anymore. But this is something they can take with them. This is something they can remember come the next map, or perhaps even the map of Breeze if we do go to a decider. On Ascent, Flame On can apply the same tactic as well. Shut down the execute before it happens. As for God Particles, well, now that the side swap has happened, what can we expect from Flame? Considering it is mirror compositions, we are going to be seeing a bigger focus and a major focus, a priority being given to the side of information. You have Sova, you have Sky, and that's exactly what's happening right now as well. We are seeing bits and hints of info going down as we see the spy going down as well. Flame On have taken B-side control, and now they have taken the initial kill as well. Knight Rider, he's been surrounded by a lot of members. Paddock speaks, he gets one, he's looking for the second. That's the second headshot of the man, and Lucia falls with even more kills in his basket. So Shiv was the only one alive, even he dies. And that, crazy, was a flawless round for Flame On.
Flawless on a pistol. That doesn't really happen that often. But Flame On, they start their attacking side with a bang. And that's what you really want to see. You gotta remember, it was a 4-8 scoreline, a very respectable scoreline. I always say this for the map of Haven. But 8-4 for me is an okay scoreline to end on Haven, especially when you are a team that have absolutely no track record on them. You have no heat, you have no information whatsoever. So the fact that they were able to get this pistol round for themselves will give them that safety net to move on down forward. But you should not underestimate the potential when it comes down to this entire roster. They are so dangerous and they are so deadly. But still, Whitehorse is not going to be able to find that kill. It's going to be a rough one. Whitehorse couldn't readjust his crosshair fast enough to find that shot. And it's going to be Kieran being the one to shut him down already. Rossi's going to be able to shut down one more. And with that, 6 and 8, right on the cards. I honestly believe that God Particles, they had a chance to win this entire thing out, but the fact that Rossi was able to stay alive, that was the biggest surprise.
Certainly so. Not really sure how that happened. Right now, well, you do have Shivy. All he's got is a classic, and he's going in towards defender spawn, hoping, praying he finds an exit frag with the right click. Is he going to? Maybe, but even that one exit frag, it's not going to matter much. God Particles in the next round, they'll be opting for the full buy again, regardless of what happens. So Shivy is right here. I think the recon, oh no, the shock dart does give away. It doesn't give away his position, however. He's got 55 seconds. He's attempting a ninja defuse, but I think it was a little too late for that. Even if you were playing Neon, you could dash towards the spike. I don't think you'd have enough time to defuse it. But regardless, God Particles, yeah, they were struggling for the initial 2 rounds. Now, is that subject to change considering they have got rifles in their hands? Perhaps. But Flame On are still looking strong. They have been garnering a bit of momentum time and time again, not just in the second half, but before that as well. In the final few rounds of the first half, when they won those 3 rounds consecutively, I think that was a big boost for them. Because I think something just instantly clicked and they figured out how to play against God Particles on the map of Haven. And now they can use those strategies to instantaneously, win more and more rounds and to equalize the score. And speaking of the score, yeah, they've already equalized 2 rounds, 2 more to go. And well, this is going to be another attack, potentially looking to have Flame On get their 7th.
They're looking to see if they can find a little bit more of an avenue to work with, but for now at least, it's a slow fight. It's a slow engagement, and once again, Scargod up to his usual shenanigans when it comes out to using the Trailblazer. Jiggles the corner, spots out a couple of players, forces them to shoot it out, but for now, Rossi, he's on towards the C-Long sideline, and I don't know how much I like this to play C-Long on a bonus round. It's a tough fight for them to take. Scar got a little bit shaky there. Just didn't find that kill, but still, he's gonna be able to hold at the bare minimum. Shivy holding from A-Long, basically giving them all the information that they need in the entire world. And the fact that he's playing further back from A-Long and not pushing up, that's what I really love. But sound given away, that's gonna be one, that's gonna be 2. Beautiful play from Whitehorse.
It's another C-take.
With the aim. And the C-take's just never gonna work out. This is an impossible take for them to give out anyways. Logista from the side. Scargut should be good for 1. Doesn't really find it. Nitroider's gonna be able to find that trade. Lost in the final position. Take a swing, take an engagement, but it's fine. Sometimes we whiff. Rolling on down from that. The magic number is on the scorecards. And hey, God Particles. They're gonna be quite happy about that.
I mean, absolutely for God Particles. A much needed round win to put back their name in the second half, to make sure that they are not slipping away with this matchup, to make sure that they know psychologically that, okay, this match is still in our hands, lads. And, we may be going through a rough patch right now after losing the initial 2 rounds, but we can extend the lead. And this is going to be another interesting round. We do notice that there are no ultimates on board. Knight Rider, he does opt for a Bulldog. Had he had his Blade Storm, it could have been better, but he'll have the Bulldog. Flame On as well. We are also seeing a couple of Spectres from their side. You've got rifles, so a lot happening. And as of now, it can be an interesting take because Flame On as a team, they like to relocate a lot. They like to take engagements, fall back, confuse their enemies as to exactly where they are located, where the major players are situated, and then execute wherever they would like to. But at the moment, I'd say that right now, God Particles, they're just playing passively. They are not looking at B. They don't want to look at mid because for B, they can play a retake and they can be pretty fine. They know that Flame On can focus far more on the A and C bomb sites. And it's exactly for that very reason why we are expecting and why the God Particles members are expecting the attackers to be there as well.
For now, though. Ooh. He's just gonna break it down through. Rossi dashes on in immediately with that first initial kill, but he's not gonna be able to find out anything. The flash is gonna be affecting him instead of the enemies. And Knight Rider just with the Bulldog's gonna be able to shut down 2 more. This is beautiful from his part to use that Bulldog to the best of its own abilities as he can find it, but it swap out towards another gun because he wanted to try and survive that. But for now, Paddock's, his position is already given away. Logista's just gonna wait. The seaside is pretty much his. He has nothing to worry about. Push up, noise being made. Paddock's, he has no idea what's waiting for him. But Logista? You heard that a person was inside of your cage, but you didn't check it? Oh no.
Player standing.
Oh,
Wait!
No. Oh, wait a second. This is
If
what
there's
happens
anyone who
when
can
you
defeat
go a
Astra, it's
little bit
another
too
Astra.
happy.
Oh my god! Paradox! Paradox! The pressure was mounting. Kill after kill after kill, the pressure was mounting, and Paradox just got a 4K on a round God Particle should have had in the bag. But nope. He was there from a very open angle, dry peeking these corners, quite literally dry peeking these corners, and he won all of those gunfights. Had he even died, there were still 2 members from Flame on there. And this is going to be a big blowback for the side of God Particles, because now their economy is really in a far worse state than they should have wanted. And this round also is not looking quite comfortable for them. They may look for a couple more kills. It may happen. But after that, God Particles, they've got to realize that it's the next round where the money's at. And Flame on might as well just end up getting the 8th round on board as Rossi gets the opening kill. But we are going to be seeing Blades versus Blades. Knight Rider versus Rossi in front of each other. They'll be peeking the same angle. Lucia gets one, forcing Rossi to go back, but he's still holding A long. The blades go wild, and it's going to be Rossi getting the skill on the opposite jet.
Player standing.
Skargar's not gonna be able to find that flick. The Marshall's not gonna be able to sing. They gotta remember that this was an eco round from the defenders, so no harm, no foul. After that last buy round win, they needed to try and figure something out here, but some noise being given away. Bondef pretty much telling everyone where he's gonna be at. And White Horse, he finds the headshot, but he's just not gonna be able to get that kill. Lost, constantly coming around the corner to shut him down on whatever fight White Horse is taking. It's 8 and 9. Slowly but surely, we're building up to the climax of this entire map. One more round, that's gonna decide it all. Either you take this one away, God Particles, and you get the double digits, or it's going to be allowing Flame On to get their first lead throughout this entire game.
Very, very true. The Flame On, they have been on the tail of God Particles, and they are just about to catch them. So right now, Flame On, multiple members on C, and Knight Rider's here with an operator. However, he's all alone on C. Now he has the support of Logista, so he's got to fall back and hold a far more passive angle. However, because Logista moved from Garage to C, well, guess which avenue opens up for Rossi to push up? Exactly, Garage. And he may be looking to get a kill. Knight Rider not checking the angle, and well, he will lose his life, lose the operator. That's the initial kill, allowing Flame On to get ready for an execute. And an execute is exactly what will be happening. Logista gets dinged. Bondef is here, holding the angle. He gets one. However, Logista, in his retaliation, takes down Bondef himself alongside Paradox. And now Flame On, though they have the spike planted, God Particles members are just pushing in. However, they're pushing in a little too soon. White Horse, I knew he got a little too jumpy on the feet. He wanted to get that kill quite early on, but he couldn't wait for Shivi. There was no trade, and now Shivi is left all alone with his location known.
That's 9 and 9. The operator doesn't find any form of value, and the fact that they left Right Knighter alone to hold down the C site with an operator, it just didn't work out for him at all, because the fight that he was taking, it just completely blew apart in his face. He just didn't have any form of backup or any form of information. Garage was empty CCV.
That's the thing.
And
yeah.
Rossi just walked
Pushed
in.
up?
He literally was walking into his own house pretty much. That's how open it was.
And I mean, I have to say that right now, looking at the scoreboard, it's pretty interesting, Grace. Actually, you know, Lost has got 20, Logista's got 20. The two Jets, I mean, they are giving an equal performance, I'd say, compared to themselves. 14 for Knight Rider, 13 for Rossi. Nothing major, but other support players are really putting in the work. And the thing is, this is going to be another round. I mean, yeah, like you mentioned, Aggressive, for the first time ever, had God Particles lost the round, which they did, now it's going to be Flame on Stone for the first time ever to be in the lead, not just in this match, not just in this best of three, not just in the gauntlet, but as a roster in an official broadcasted match. They will be in the lead, they will have winning chances, and this might as well be their first ever victory if they keep on playing like how they are in the second half, giving God Particles only a single round out of 6 that we have seen so far. So I'd say that Flame On are in an excellent position right now. God Particles, they have a bit of thinking to do. God Particles have got to make sure that right now they don't slip out at all. Granted, it's still an equal score, and yes, this round is going to go in favor of Flame On. No one's denying that. They've got plenty of credits in the bank as well. So God Particles just have to play on kills, 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 minimize damage, minimize casualties. It's a big ask to ask from members with so much stacked up against them. But I think God Particles still have a bit in them to achieve that and to try and etch this map for a victory of their own.
It's just a pretty rough one for them. God Particles, they need to give away this round. They don't have enough eco to go in for anything. And if they do choose to go in for a force buy, they're pretty much putting themselves in the worst possible positions to try and fight for the 11th and also the 12th. So now it's going to give them an opportunity to build themselves up again, but this eco round needs to hold a lot of fruit unless they get 4 kills or even a thrifty. Like, I have to admit that getting a thrifty here is a necessity for them. What I have seen from Flame On as a team is that they require a little bit of time to get into the groove of things, but as soon as things start clicking and falling into place, they are a team that know how to hold a lead and hold an advantage for themselves. In a 2 versus 4 situation, Paddock's just casually tapped everyone out of existence and took the seaside for himself. If you have a player like that on your team, then God Particles, we're gonna be in a very scary situation.
That's true. And right now, okay, Knight Rider. He slips away, he uses the dash, goes away, and we are just seeing God Particles hold their forces, hold their ground like you were saying they should on the A bomb side. However, there's this little like duo pushing up C, just pushing up C. Nothing else needed. They're just pushing up C. They're just getting side control, and they're going to give information that okay, there's no defender on C. Play here, and that's going to be another kill to the side of Flame On, with the third falling through, as well as Rossi gets rid of White House pretty quickly. And now God Particles, well, they're only down to their 2 initiators, and I don't think they can do much. This to me feels like another flawless round aggressive, and this is not how the eco round should have gone. Granted, yes, eco rounds are never easy. You max to max can only get like 2-3 kills. Like thrifty rounds are extremely difficult to come by unless you're a crazy team. So God Particles weren't in a good spot already, but a flawless round means Flame On get even more credits to spend and even more credits to save in the next couple of rounds. Is right now. Scargor, I'm not really sure where Scargor was. It was just stuck.
He disconnected actually.
Oh,
Probably
that's
a couple of
unfortunate.
internet issues. And Bondev's gonna be the one to swing out and take that final kill on towards Shivy. We're gonna be pausing out down through and seeing exactly what's gonna happen to Scargod, but that's the thing. It's the 10-9 scoreline now. And on this 10-9, just look at the bank of the attackers. They're never gonna need to go in for ecos at all throughout this entire last couple of rounds. Even if we do see God Particles take it onto a 12, they're gonna have more than enough money to go in for Vice for at least 4 rounds. That's the thing
That's
here.
true. Wait, 1 second. Okay, so can I just highlight? I absolutely love Paddock's cam. The positioning, it is incredible. He is in the center of the screen. You can see him, like, you can see a lot of his body. If he wants, he can
He's
maintain
casting,
eye
bro.
contact as well. That's exactly what I was gonna say. This is a caster cam. This is like casters, have cams like positioning like this. That's an excellent camera placement. So I know players, obviously, that's not one of their biggest priorities. Like, it should be like a good priority because their fans absolutely love to see the players quite literally, especially for players who don't stream on a regular basis. But yeah, positioning can make a heap of a difference with your camp. So I absolutely love Paradox's camp. But other than that, coming back to the game, it was just something I had to highlight. It was something I've noticed ever since the start of this match, and I was like, oh, I love this camp. It's such a great placement. But more so, it's been like the crosshair placement of the members of Flame On for the past couple of rounds that I think I'm in love with more, because they have been tearing apart the roster of God Particles person after person, member after member, and there's nothing that the members can do about it. They have been losing consecutively. They don't have any form of retaliation. Now that the eco round is gone, they have a bit of a technical issue as well. Hopefully that doesn't mess up their already downhill journey. Well, their journey that has been downhill so far in the second half. The Scar God's disconnection doesn't mess up a little too much, and hopefully we can see God Particles and their communication being on the same base. But Flame On are certainly at a higher pedestal right now. The tables have turned, absolutely they have, than what they were prior to the map of Haven starting, prior to the pistol round.
That's the thing here. It's rough. The way that Flame On have been playing, initially when I saw the 7 rounds come on through for God Particles, I initially thought that, okay, this roster is having a really hard time trying to even understand or comprehend what exactly God Particle are trying to do. Came through on the 9th round, it was a complete and utter shift. They got one more round for themselves. It was a 2-7. I was like, oh, God Particles, they're just gonna come on back from it. But no, that was not the case. It was a steep hill down. Like, the road was literally so steep that God Particle just slid down to the very bottom. And now it's a 10-9 scoreline. Did you expect this right off the get-go? Oh, hell no. But what I like to see here in particular is a team that knows how to adapt and build themselves as the game goes on. I love this about Flame On right now. They're not going to have a strong start, but once you let them build up the momentum, and once you let them understand how the match is playing out, they're just performing all over.
And well, right now we do see the Cosmic Divide go through. Well, the side of Flame On, they have initiated this post-con scenario. The other Cosmic Divide is down as well. The Hunter's Fury making a mess of everything that is already extremely chaotic. Logista, he spots Rossi, and now the Spy Cam will be destroyed. So God Particles, they're still 5 men strong. Flame On, well, they only have 4 to their name. And we are seeing everyone from the defense push on over to the bomb side. A trade happens very quickly, and another trade allows God Particles to be in an extreme advantage as Lost is left all alone. However, the spike, though it has been half diffused, Nitrite is going to stick it, and he does! The technical pause. I mean, whatever it was, they got through their mistakes, and it worked for the side of God Particles. They have gotten that 1 round, and they still are in the game. They have not let it slip out at all. So good stuff right now. Flame On, it was a good post plan, but everything that was happening just forced out the defenders, forced out the attackers back and back, and there wasn't much they could have done with all the trades happening and with all of the defenders rushing into the bomb side, multiple defenders. There was a little too much happening on screen for the attackers to handle.
It's difficult for one of them to fathom as well, because now it's just gonna fall apart even further if they're not careful. Paradox is making his own way through towards C1, trying to see if he can find any form of aggressive play from the defenders, but God Particles, they know they cannot play overly aggressive, because if they do, things are just gonna fall apart from them. Rossi, he's gonna get caught out by the gravity well, and it's all about the lineups. That's all that you need. White Horse lines him up, sends them back home packing immediately. And with that, 2 members going down this early in quick successive fashion without any form of map control being established, and with God Particles causing this much pressure on towards A-Log as well, it's pretty much a chokehold from them. And now, they're gonna try to do even more damage with it, but Lost, he's trying to mitigate it as much as he possibly can.
Right. Now the thing is, with Flame...
What?
Oh,
I
okay.
know exactly.
Knight Rider needed to give that up.
Too vulnerable. A little, I'd say. With the angle he was holding, could have been better. But Shivi, even he's... Okay, he does get the kill. That's good. But retreat, back. Paradox, his location has been revealed. Shivi is holding the angle. Here comes Skargod as well with his guiding light. There goes another flash. Paradox is very open, very vulnerable. The members of God Particles can kill him, can eliminate him if they want to. He is pushing through. He does spot Shivi. 13 seconds on the clock. Paradox won't get
Beautiful
anything.
timing.
Neither will his teammate. Great timing, right? And hopefully the operator can be retrieved to the side of... No, it won't be retrieved. So they do lose an operator. However, they do gain something far more valuable. The lead of this game and the 11th round.
Knight Rider is going in for a full-on glass cannon. No armor, no nothing. And if he's able to make this one work, it's going to be beautiful for him. And I do believe he should be able to find something. One player always does peek mid at least once to gain a little bit of info, but they're not going to go in for it. Instead, we do see Flamon head for a full-on A-side execution. And this could just be the make it or break it for them. If they go in for a fast execute, it could hurt them, but what I do like is that Paradox, he's holding from C long to see if he can get any form of an advantage there. Instead of sending a Cypher, who normally will play from mid, it is full-scale rush from the sidelines, Paradox! He needs to survive here. If he dies out a little bit too early, it's gonna be rough. He immediately gets straighted out, down through, and one by one, they're just gonna start falling apart. There is almost nothing on towards the other side. Knight Rider? Sure. You want to go in for a little bit of a risky play, I'm not going to blame you for it, but you got to be careful how you take those fights. Bondef a little bit too much aggression from his side as well. And the attackers, they've already lost 3 players and sending us down over to a 3 versus 2 scenario.
The crossfire is being maintained. However, the defenders, all they can do is isolate the gunfight. That's exactly what they do. Look at the information from the recon board. It gets the kill onto Lucia. Lost his location is known, and it's going to be a quick trade. And God Particles, they absolutely will win this round. So great stuff right there. Absolutely love. Yeah, even though the crossfire was there, isolating the gunfight, the cyber cage was good, the recon board, and just overall a good retake. Simple, good, concise retake. Nothing more to say about that. Allowing God Particles to get match point. Very, very necessary match point for their side, and it is pretty imminent, and it is very, very influential because Flamon have given such a good fight, overall fight, not just a gunfight, overall fight to their opposition. However, right here at the cusp, right here at the last final few stages, if God Particles take the win, which may happen, yeah, it's going to be a heartbreak for the side of Flamon, and Ascend is not going to be any easier story as well. So right now, it's a full buy versus full buy. Knight Rider misses his first shot, and he has to fall back, which he does successfully and safely. God Particles are still focused on their defense and looking and spotting any of the attackers.
We gotta see how this round's gonna play out. Ooh. If that wall was not a solid wall, that would have been a beautiful and disgusting flick from the side. They're falling apart one by one. Bondev's gonna be able to take down Whitehorse as well, who tried to go in for a swing jiggle, but that just did not work out at all the way that we expected. But still, Skargod, he has a couple of flashes. That's gonna be catching on one, but still, Rossi is gonna be able to move his crosser out of that vicinity, and Logista doesn't know which side he wants to turn to. Does he want to take left? Does he want to take right? He needs to look in front because now it's an 11 and 12 scoreline. The possibility of an overtime coming around the corner at any second now. Because 2 members, they're barely able to go in for buys. Knight Rider's the only one that can use his Blade Storm to make something work out here. But honestly speaking, his operator has not been the best that we know it can be.
That is true. Knight Rider, I mean, I'm not gonna say 17 kills is any bad, but yeah, the op, it's not about missing, like, okay, overall, yeah, his op has gotten kills, but it's the influential frags that could have, had it gone the either way, it would have been better. Well, right now, he still has a chance to rectify all of his mistakes. He is pushing up A long. He has pushed up A long significantly, but he doesn't want to go into unknown territory, you know, pushing the smoke. And right now, it's going to be the members of Flamon as well, pushing through a lot towards B. The cyber cage, the spy cam, even the owl drone that's going to be locating their location, and the trailblazer. I mean, look at the information, look at the sheer threshold of information God Particles are throwing right here on mid to try and find out where exactly the members of Flamon are. And they do know multiple members were there towards mid. So expect something happening near garage, expect something happening near A main or on B as well.
I've
So
got your trail.
Flame on, they've only got 50 seconds. The Seekers go through. They will be initiating a big amount of the process of executing onto the bomb site. Scargod, he has to fall back. He won't be concussed by the Seekers. However, Flame on are looking to take seaside control. The Hunter Fury goes through. And right now, God Particles, they just have to prevent this execute. They do get the opening kill. They are stopping this execute. They are holding the angles. And looks like God Particles may just take this win. Scargod gets the final headshot. And a flawless round to end this map.
I have to say, God Particles, they made the most beautiful read ever. Full-scale rush on towards mid. The mid rush did not work because of the amount of smokes being put up by Logista. And that just gave them the edge that they needed. Whitehorse put down his own Nebula. It was a cyber cage from Logista. There was no way they could have entered on to B. And that's when the call came in from Shibi being like, boys, I feel as though they're going to be heading on down over onto C. Everyone made a rotation. They were sitting inside of a site. Flashes came in. Angles were being held. And with the last 15 seconds left on the clock, no team is going to be able to go in for a rotation. They needed to force the fight. But how do you force the fight when you don't even know where the opponents are? And as we head on down over towards the match highlights, we're going to be reliving that moment as well as many more to try and break things down for you piece by piece of why exactly God Particles took this win. Yes, was it a hard-fought win? Oh, for sure.
Absolutely.
I'm pretty much going to say that Flame On are an incredible squad right off the get-go here. They have the team play, they have the coordination, they have the synergy. They know what they really need to do. And because of that, I believe as though Flame On have an opportunity to be one of the best easily with the roster that they do have. You got to remember, these are just members who have came together under a banner to play in the TEC. And the fact that they're putting up this much of a performance already, I'm scared of how good they're going to be getting in the future.
That is true. Yeah, the future, exactly. I don't want to classify them as an amazing tier 2 team just now, as an amazing up and coming team just now. You know, they have just made their way through. I mean, we were talking about earlier how this is Rossikran's first match, and you know, we'll be looking at his performance later as well. We saw a lot of his performance, even right now in the highlights. There are plenty of instances of that. But other than that, we still need more information. We still need more data. Like, I want them to see and I want them to see play other maps against other rosters, against other players, and only then can a better judgment be given. Kind of like how it works in statistics. If you have not a lot of statistics, the numbers are going to skew quite heavily in one specific manner. But once you add a lot more to the information pool, then things get balanced out. As right now, as we see in the highlights, things were skewing a lot towards God Particles, and Flame On, they had to do something in order for the match to skew in their favor, and they did. Heading on over to the final few rounds of the first half, I mean, this was one of the rounds. This 2v2 retake, essentially, in my eyes, started this chain reaction, this domino reaction of a Flame On pushing through, winning. They retakes, diffusing the spike time and time again. This was another one of those instances. And ending the half in an 8-4 was a great manner, but what was even better was the second half for the side of Flame On.
Yeah, Flame On, they had such a strong start to their second half, winning out the pistol round, winning up in the rounds prior, but then it really did come down to Flame On just not being able to hold down the forts as much as they would have liked to. Right at the very end, because of techno pause that did come on down through, it completely broke the momentum of Flame On, and they looked a little bit lost, primarily due to the fact that God Particles, they constantly switch up their strategies to try and bring in something a little bit more different and a little bit more new. And God Particles, I'll have to give them props and credit where credit is due. Yes, was Knight Rider a little bit too overly aggressive with the operator trying to take fights he really shouldn't have been taking? Yes, were there multiple different occasions where there were pretty much open-ended fights where Logistics should have held? There were a lot of mistakes being made by God Particles, but the mistakes were rectified by really good fundamental Valorant, which was just about the trades. I do believe personally that God Particles won out purely due to their trade potential, and that's what pretty much tipped the balance in their favor entirely. If it wasn't for the flawless trading, I do believe that Flame On, they could have easily taken this entire set away from themselves. Sorry, this entire map away from themselves.
Absolutely. Now, speaking about the set as well, the next map we have coming up, well, it's going to be, Ascent. And even over there, I mean, there are going to be differences, sure. We are going to see it's a far smaller map, a bit more concise, close quarter combat can be expected a bit more. Not as much as something like Bind, but can be expected a bit more. Many cheeky places and cheeky angles to hold. So, on Ascent, is it going to be a similar story as to what exactly we witnessed, where certain halves are just going in the favor of certain teams? The first half, like it was heavily favoring God Particles, and then the second half was all for Flame On up until the initial final, the final few rounds. So, with that being said and done, yeah, let's rewatch this final round. I mean, just amazing stuff. The guiding light from Scar got, the peaks from Whitehorse, the 2K he got, and all of that, even with the Spectre. And having a look at the scoreboard as well, Logista and Lost, these two lads were at the top of the tables for quite a long time, and they absolutely deserve to be on the top of the table. For Lost, even though his team, pun intended, lost, he maintained an average combat score
God damn it.
of 300. That is insane. Logista as well, 275, 24 kills. I mean, yeah, the supports were just going wild. I mean, yeah, the duelists, they had a good performance as well, quite equal, Knight Rider and Rossi, if you look at it from a numbers perspective. But Logista and Lost were just on a level of their own.
Hey, I pretty much put the highlight on Legista for a reason, and he was able to perform to that
True.
very specific capabilities. And that this is why Logista, I see him to be one of the incredible players that we can always rely on, especially from God Particles. And now with the recent addition of Whitehorse onto his roster, now that he's playing as well, when Ember is not here, I do believe he's playing as the sixth player. I don't know exactly. We're going to be confirming that later on, but I love the fact that these four players are now all together. They have completed the super team once more. Old God Particles is back with the addition of Logista and Ember, and I'm really excited to see what they're going to be bringing down to the table. But game number 2 is where the real fun will start to rise. We're going to be heading on down over into a short break, setting everything up. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back with the LG Ultragear presents the Esports Club Gauntlet Season 4, powered by Crucial, and our player partners in none other than 656.
Welcome back, everyone, to LG Ultragear presents the Esports Club Gauntlet Season 4, powered by Crucial, with our apparel partner 656. I'm CC, joined alongside Aggressive. And Aggressive, we have day number 2, best of 3 number 2, the 4th best of 3 already. I mean, no BO3 has, disappointed us at all. Now we have God Particles up against Flame On. Map 1. I mean, it went all 24 rounds of regulation. What more can you expect? Flame On, a team with debutants. Flame On, a team that has just been collaborated and just been hosted together by these ragtag players who are all skilled individually. They gave up such an intense fight against God Particles, a staple of Tier 2 South Asian Valorant. And now heading on over to Ascent, what are your views? Not just on Ascent, but on this BO3 in general.
For me personally, I believe that Flame On as a team, they have massive amounts of untapped potential. I haven't seen this much potential in a team since Weird. And you know how much I love Weird as a squad. Now that they have picked up by Reckoning, they're going to have even more potential than ever that's going to get unlocked due to their coaches being present. That's the thing here. You got to remember that these teams that are playing, they never had the opportunity to be in the limelight as much. And now they're forming these new teams, they're shuffling up the rosters, they're trying to see how much they can get away with here to see if they can break through into the tier 1 and tier 2 scene. And I personally do believe that Flame On, from what I have seen from them here already, I'm pretty sure that you summed it up properly, that they're not here yet as a tier 2 team, but they're right at the, let's say, the middle bottom-ish. And if they're able to take away at the bare minimum of one map, or even because of the fact that they were able to send God Particles down over to a 13 and 11 scoreline, mind you, this is a God Particle that now has Whitehorse back on their team. That just goes to show how much potential this squad will have. Moving on down the line, though, onto Ascent, if they're still able to adapt and they're able to learn and just build upon what they're constantly learning throughout the entire game, I do believe the map of Ascent should go towards them, but God Particles, it's their home map. And we know what happens to all of the teams. It's like the curse of Valorant in general, not even the Esports Club curse anymore. You win out on your opponent's map,
right,
and then you lose out on yours. Other than the 9 and 3 curse, of course. It could just happen, CCV.
No such thing.
I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you.
Curses are non-existent. But anyways, what is pretty much existent, what is done and dusted, well, about to be done and dusted, these players, they are not looking to waste any time. It is the agent selection after all. Ascent is the map, and the agent compositions are as follows. God Particles, they are looking to bring forward a double duelist. That is, of course, unless Scargod picks something else. Perhaps even a Sky, maybe a Breach, Shivi's on the Sova. So we can't expect something out of God Particles. Other than that, the other 4 agents, pretty standard considering what map we're playing. For the side of Flame On, yes, a KO is interesting. It's not the meta necessarily. I mean, KO can be classified as the meta. It's the only difference is he doesn't hold as much of a market share as someone like Sova does, someone like Sky does, someone like Breach does. He is still underpicked, if you want to call things balanced. But yeah, it's going to be double initiator up against double duelist, and God Particles going for double duelist on Ascent. Now, Aggressive, is this them just focusing on aim, gunfights, face checking everything and killing their opposition, or is there a second layer to it, or is there something else going on behind the scenes?
The main thing that I would like to talk about personally is that why do you want to pick a double duelist on Ascent? What are the strengths of this certain composition in comparison to a double initiator? Personally, I will say that double initiator is by far the better composition entirely by itself, because it doesn't really require you to have incredible aim to make it all work. You need to have decent aim and just need to have incredible communication, which is a lot more harder to do. That's why the composition is a lot more difficult to play and a lot more stronger. What really signifies a really good team? It's not their aim. It's not the fact that they have insane mechanics. but the fact that they have incredible communication. God Particles on the other side, I do believe that they're feeling themselves after what happened in the last match. Logista is just having a field day out here on his Sentinel, and Scargod just wants to go in for frags. So the reason why they're going in for a double deals composition should be basically that. If you are mentally prepared to take those gunfights, and if you're mentally prepared to just deal the damage, then why not go in for a double duelist comp? It can work out for you. And see that, Scargod? He's making it happen. But where are these lineups coming from? Hello?
Okay, Scargod does die. Logista has got the support right here. And he's just pushing into Garden. And oh no, he misses the right click multiple times. Lucia. Well, he gets the frag onto him. But not to worry. As Whitehouse gets a quick little trade. Knight Rider, he was entirely flashed. But he still gets it somehow onto Bondef. I have no clue what's going on. The two surviving members of Flamon, they are right here on Heaven. The Owl Drone alongside the body of Soba gets absolutely obliterated as Whitehouse gets another. And now Paradox, his location is known. He's left all alone. He knows where both the members are. He's going for the shots, but he misses them. And Whitehouse with a triple, allowing his team to win the round. What just happened?
Oh, was that important?
Complete and utter chaos. But hey, in the moments of chaos, if you're able to keep a cool head and find a couple of those shots, I guess it's fine. But I really want to know if Bondef was flashed, or did he just whiff those shots?
I think he should be flashed, because if
There's
he
no
wasn't,
situation where he misses those shots. It's Bondef.
exactly. If he wasn't, then no, he should be flashed. For the sake of him, he was flashed. You know what? That was the truth. Yeah, I saw him. He was flashed.
The thing with KO though, in personal, let's just say, I did have your question in mind, but the round just started and I slipped completely when I saw the utter chaos ensuing because of the lineups from A Short. So the main thing that you were talking about, the KO not being in the meta, I kind of agree with you there that KO's a really difficult character to play on the map of Ascent. It's hard to get a lot of value out of it, but why do players tend to pick up that KO over something like a Sky from time to time on the map of Ascent? Because Sky, yeah, she's really good, but does she give you that insane level of firepower that maybe something like a Breach or a KO would bring down to the table? I think that KO is like a perfect middle ground between that Breach and that Sky. That's why a lot of teams, they're trying to incorporate the KO into their lineup. You gotta remember something, that in every other region, even in Southeast Asia, KO is picked up by a lot of different teams. And in Europe and NA, it's a very common pickup for a lot of different teams. That's why in that sense, I personally do believe that KO is a strong and really hardy pick, but it's very difficult to get a lot of use out of unless you are a team that have practiced it over and over again. And in my eyes, I don't know, CCG. It could end horribly if they're not careful.
Certainly could. Certainly could. Well, right now we are going to be seeing the second round commencing. And with this point forward, well, Flamon, they are all grouped up towards A. Granted, you know, it's going to be their eco on their side. God Particles, they've gone just for the proper anti-eco picks. They've got Spectres, they've got full armor. Knight Rider getting a heap of information and a heap of kills for himself. From mid, he gets 2 headshots onto Lucia and Bondef using the Phantom that he has. Quite interesting for a second round pick, but he's not the only one who opts for rifles. Now, Stargod with the Spectre, not with the rifle. He loses his life, allowing the members of Flamon to converge onto the A-bomb side. At the moment, Astra's all alone, but Whitehouse, he doesn't need a lot of support. He is there. He is going to reload his Spectre. He has been spotted. He has been killed. Paradox is on a 3K, and Flamon, they may just win this round. All of it, a lot of it, depends on this one kill. However, Knight Rider from behind, getting rid of Paradox. The spike may have been planted, but lost. His gravestone is planted right here in this corner. So that's a 4K for Knight Rider, and that's round number 2 for God Particles. Just a little too much damage dealt to their roster.
No, you don't deserve
I think it's fine.
mentions.
Because you gotta remember that the attackers also went in for a force buy here, and the fact that they did lose out on the force buy, that pretty much nullifies any form of an advantage or even the eco round that they could have gone for, being forcing them to go in for an eco here, giving away the third round as well. That's going to be a tough one for them, but the fact is, going in for that force buy, they did deal a significant amount of damage towards the economy of God Particles. And even if they do lose out here now, God Particles, they're in that situation. Do they want to go in for a buy, or do they want to go in for a couple of semis? I have a couple of sheriffs to just
Out of charge.
build up their economy so that they can once again go in for a full buy and play for a pseudo buy, let's say, in the following roundup? Or do they want to let Knight Rider just do what he does best, frag out of his mind with his buddies on his side? Scarlet's gonna be able to take down one more player because of the grenade, and Logistic gets the final on towards the face of Paddock. They also retrieve the gun from the sideline, so they can play for a full-on bonus, no problems whatsoever. And Knight Rider, he has a choice. He can pick up an operator, or he can play for the Bladestorm.
It is an interesting choice, and I think he may get the Bulldog and the Bladestorm. I think he doesn't want to invest everything into the op right now. I mean, albeit, yeah, he can make it work. He is Knight Rider after all, but I think it's far more better to just have the Bulldog for this round, considering that it's a proper bonus round. You don't need to buy anything else, and especially not something as expensive as the op is. Knight Rider already putting in the work with the Bladestorm. He gets the opening kill, and he immediately falls back. Great stuff. He doesn't want to overextend. He knows his team is at a man advantage. He's going to play on the basis of that, luring the members of Flame On in towards A main. Meanwhile, towards B main, they equalize the man count, and they're still looking for more. They're still looking for more. Flame On all over the map.
Nice
However,
shot.
it's still gaining them kills, all thanks to Rossi, who has picked up a 2K, potentially looking for his third. That is, unless Whitehorse catches him first.
It's difficult, but they should be able to get it. Scargod didn't notice the player who walked in towards from A main. That's gonna cost him his own life there. Whitehorse, he's holding down a different angle, and this buy round's already paying fruit. They have full control. They know what angles they need to take, and down in this 2 versus 4, there's no way they can bring this one back. I love that Flame On immediately went in for a complete another retaliation by taking away map control that the entirety of the defenders were trying to keep. One by one they found the kills, but it was just not enough. But Shivy, he's punishing every single one of the players from Flame On for going in overly aggressive. And these over-aggressive plays, yes, they can work, but Shivy, he's not a person you're going to be able to get away with things easily from. And he knows he has a choice. He can either save the gun, run on away. He has a lot of money, and he has no worries of wanting to not even save this gun, or he could just go in for a couple of exits. And he should be able to get this kill on towards the face of Rossi. He's making so much noise. Rossi, you're dead!
No.
I think it's a
Rossi.
little bit too soon. It's Rossi.
Absolutely. And well, first round on the board for Flame On, good stuff. You know, they make sure that God Particles, unlike map number 1, are not entirely running away with the initial couple of rounds and building an immense lead for their side that will be hard to overcome. Not impossible, hard. Flame On did overcome that lead, falling short just at the final few moments on Haven. But it's a new day, it's a new map, it's a new map as well. You know, it's Ascent now. So things certainly are different for these teams. No longer are we going to see mirror agents. We are not even going to be seeing the same compositions. And that incoherently leads to quite obvious strategic differences that are going to be lined up. We can see the members of God Particles. They are pretty aggressive. Knight Rider yet again getting aggressive with that operator as we saw him on Haven, but in this case he will be pushed up into the corner. He better dash away after getting one kill. He does. He dashes away. Again, smart stuff. Knight Rider has certainly realized, like, this is what I love. Even in the previous round, what did he do? He got one kill, dashed away. Even right now, one kill, dashed away. Completely opposite to how he was playing on Haven, but a far better and suitable playstyle for him.
Knight Rider. He's looking for one more, and he's gonna be able to find that freebie for himself. But no! If he missed that shot, but that was a headshot as well. Pondem. His poor little head's gonna get popped into a million different pieces. Knight Rider, he's looking for one more. 4K for Knight Rider. The operator reigns in supreme. And that's gonna be the 4-1 scoreline as well. Oh my god, Knight Rider, he's absolutely going ham on that op.
He was wrong. I mean, technically, I said after the initial kill, he falls back. What he does after is just his own business. And in this case, he absolutely thrashed Flame On members. And not only did he not only did he thrash them, he thrashed their economy as well. Because though a couple of members on the attack can buy guns, armor, it's still a weak buy. Far weaker than what their opposition has. And because of that reason, a lot of the pressure falls onto Rossi, who is pushing into market, using the right click. Oh, he won't be able to land a single shot.
What?
Unfortunate. And now the execute has been stopped. It has been resumed. Everyone from Flame On is pushing through, but God Particles, they're just playing on the basis of the retake. They don't want to do anything else. They don't want to contest the site right now. Even if they are,
1
it's
HP.
not going in their way.
1 HP!
Swarm grenade. Swarm grenade out.
Bondef, you're an absolutely disgusting player. What was that shot? Poor old Scargot didn't even know it hit him, and Bondef just slaps him with a 1 HP Sheriff 1 tap straight to the forehead. Lucio though, shots. He's not gonna be able to find out much, but still, Shimmy from the back end's gonna be the one thing that shuts down Bondef before he can even take a red one from the side. Paddles is gonna be good for 1. White Horse with an immediate swing does get the trade. Instantaneous from his side and lost his turn. Wait it out. Take it down slow. Shimmy, you gotta run. You gotta get this kill. He knows exactly where he is. Take a shot. Take a peek. He's gonna be going in for the white swing.
Oh
on the
my!
hip, but it's completely fine. Shimmy toyed with the other Sova's feelings, but in the end, he put him down nicely.
I don't think this is one of the instances where Shivi was toying with him on purpose. This was just Shivi, like, let me get the kill, please let me get the kill. At the end, he did. He is still a very serious face for him right now. His expression hasn't changed much, even though it was a pretty important round, the previous one, for the side of God Particles. They took the win on over from Flame On, and they're still building the lead. So Flame On, we need to see what we saw a couple of rounds back. We need to see that retaliation happening yet again. It has been 2 rounds. Flame On, yes, the previous round wasn't their strongest buy. Now they can afford rifles. Now they can afford armor as well. So this should be an attack-sided win for the sake of the attackers. We are seeing Rossi yet again towards mid push up. Whitehouse gets the opening kill onto Bondef, and now the pain shells as well, damaging Paradox. He's just all alone, and he was in his astral form, and there was no support whatsoever. Even for Rossi, he's just pushing all by himself. Not the best from Flame On. A bit of desperation can just be seen with how they were playing, with how Rossi was pushing as well. And even this from Lost. He's all alone, just pushing a smoke. It does work in his favor, but not before and not for long, because there's a super trade from Stargate.
Yeah, it's just about clean up
Recalling
duty.
my bot. Swarm
Piling
grenade
up the
out.
bodies on towards mid, on towards A short. Sorry, A main. And on the 6-1 scoreline, we can already see the problems starting to arise. Now, I'm gonna try to break it down from my side, CCV, and you can agree or disagree with me accordingly.
If you bring the curse, I think I'll know what I'll do. Okay, go on, yeah.
Okay, it's not a curse, not yet anyway. But technically, the main problem that we are noticing from Flame On is their one-dimensional approach to a lot of these different strategies. I don't really see them using their utility to give them any form of an advantage here. They're trying to peek open-ended corners. They're trying to get a little bit of control over on towards mid, onto A main, through the pure usage of their own guns and their own bodies. If they don't win a gunfight, it's just gone for them. As you can see, they're rushing in together for the gunfights here. I understand this, but you can play this a little bit more differently.
All 5 members on A main as well. I mean, I get the Jet, I get Russ. He's the dive agent. He has to push through, but all 5? I mean, worst things worst, you know, even though it's a strategy we don't often see, send someone on a lurk, send someone on a solo mission to plant the spike on the B bomb side. That may work. You know it's a lost cause, you know it's an eco. Even if you don't want to do that, all 5 members on A main, the only way in which it can work is if you get into the bomb side. But yet again, what just happened from the side of God Particles? They shot down the execute. 4 out of the 5 casualties were faced on A main. Only one single person, that was Rossi using his dash, went on over to the bomb side, and that was that. Right now we are seeing the 2 duelists peek a lot, and they're open peeking. And God Particles, I don't really think, I mean, after a kill, they should have fell back. Yeah, what I was talking about before of Knight Rider alone should have happened here as well. But that's fine. A quick little trade, and it's a 4v4.
It's not the worst of situations. 4 versus 4, they can work with it. But Scargot dying early, it's gonna be a hard one. The timing. Imagine if Rossi was still holding that angle. If White Horse died, that would have been a big kill. But the fact that White Horse got all the information in the entire world, the lineup happened. Paddock's got hit. He's down to 22. What? Hello?
Wait, huh? White Horse? Okay. Okay.
Stuff
Okay.
happened. Stuff happened.
There's still Shibby. No. There's not Shibby anymore. Okay. There's still KJ. He can do it. I mean, if there's anyone, it can happen. Perhaps. Maybe it's just leading up to a 1v3 for the content. Maybe for the content. But yeah, it's going to be a flame on round. And we are just seeing a carbon copy of what we witnessed on the map of Haven as well. God Particles had 7 rounds. Flame on then started winning 3. They got 4 rounds on board. God Particles won the final round, and it was an 8-4. Right now, it's going to be the second for Flame on. Logista won't be able to do a lot. So that's that, done and dusted. A couple of whiffs right here and then. I mean, I can't sugarcoat what just happened. So God
No one
Particles
can.
could have had a better chance to win the round. It wasn't guaranteed. They could have had a better chance. But what happened happened, and what's done is done. They can focus on the next round, considering that all 10 of the members can still buy rifles and ops.
You gotta remember that in the map of Haven, it also was a 7-1 scoreline. And
Exactly.
it was a win coming through from Flame On to get that 7-2. Will history repeat itself? That's what we're really gonna find out here. They have an opportunity to get a massive advantage, and Knight Rider. You gotta stop, buddy. Sometimes you gotta let them go from time to time because of the way that you're pushing out these corners. He's pretty much forcing them to make a decision. Either invest utility or you are just dead here. But Knight Rider, watch your angles, watch your fights. If you're not careful, you're probably gonna die. But he's probably gonna be the one to get a kill instead from the sidelines. So much utility being given, and Rossi, he's just gonna hold the corner. He knows for a fact that Knight Rider is gonna be holding that sideline. Immediately takes a swing, and the tighter the angle you hold, the more of a disadvantage you're gonna have on a player who is swinging further away. That is going to be an angle advantage working in the favor of Rossi's side. Being able to take down Knight Rider here immediately and making sure this operator doesn't get any form of value is going to give the attackers an even better opportunity to get a stronger foothold and possibly get another round for themselves.
Well, although this is a nice fake that Flamon are going for, I think God Particles are aware of this. It's not going to, they're not really entirely selling the fake. They still have to win it on the basis of their guns. And Shivi gets one from A main. Scargod is in the bomb side as well. He gets one more. The Killjoy lockdown. Well, I don't think the Killjoy lockdown will matter too much. Flame on. They still have 2 members alive. One was retained, one was caught reloading his gun. And that is another kill. So Flame on are still kicking about. No, the lockdown did work. And Logistum. Earlier, it was a 1v3, now it's a 1v2, now it's a 1v0. He does it. He does it.
Stop in the lab.
He's too smart for his own good. He's got to stop. And CCV. Something that you hate is also coming soon.
I don't
It's
know what you're talking
looming.
about.
It's
I'm not even-
moving around the corner.
There's no such thing.
He's like that man
round
in a
count
trench
is
coat
coming.
in an alley.
See,
You're
look
walking
at the
down
buy
that
of Flame
exact
on. Look at the
one.
buy of Flame. It's not a good buy of Flame on. They can't really afford a lot. It's the final round. It's gonna be.
Exactly, it's gonna be a 9-2.
That's fine.
It's
Okay,
gonna
that's
be
fine.
written on your contract, don't worry about it.
No, there's no such thing as any curse. They don't exist.
Get out of my way.
Any round count is fine for me.
Yes. It's part of understanding of why you're here. And Bondev though, maybe he can switch everything out. That's gonna be the first kill. Prosecutor's gonna be flying on down through. He's going in for that shot. He does find the kill. It's gonna be the final one. So much Logista. The spray's gonna be raining true. He shuts out 2 more. Skarga from the sideline gets all the backup that he needs, but lost. He picks up his buddy Bondev. It's gonna be down over to a 2 versus 4, but this 2 versus 4 is not looking that favorable. Lost gets killed out by the shock dart from Shimmy, but a shock dart for a shock dart. That's all the kills that they need. And finally, poor old Bondev. What you gonna do, buddy? Don't even find the kill.
Yeah.
And now CCV. It's time.
Blah blah blah. Whatever.
Last round
I mean,
before the switch.
I get it. This round wasn't the best economically for the side of Flame On, but yet again, yeah, it's a one major problem that's been happening. Their attacks, their executes more specifically, are just being shut down. With the exception of Rossi Kiran, who is quite obviously playing the dive agent. That's why he can get into the bomb site so quickly, rapidly, is because of his dash and his updraft. Other than him, there's no side footfall whatsoever from the attackers. They're just stopped dead on A main. They have been at the very least 3 rounds so far where we are witnessing this from God Particles. And this is something that has been plaguing both of these rosters, not just Flame On, not just God Particles. For GP, this happened to them on their attack on Haven as well. And right now, we may see something similar. Rossi's in the bomb side. He gets one. He can be the deal breaker right here, but so can Knight Rider. He gets a second kill. He drops the spike, and Logista in the bomb side. He dispatches the other Jet. He dispatches the other Astra, and it's going to be Lucia dying by the Astra. Whitehorse, God Particles, they do take their 10th round. And I mean, the lead that they have built, it is extremely strong. Far better than the one they had in the previous map as well, Graces. So this is a bigger hill for Flame On to climb on a far more difficult map because God Particles are just looking imminently stronger here.
I honestly have to say that Logista is the biggest difference maker for them. It's always that Sentinel player. In any team that we have seen, let it be the professional level play for in South Asia, Southeast Asia, Europe, NA, Latin. Tell me one time where the highlight player is not the Sentinel. It feels as though Sentinels are pretty much the backbone and the ones that bring in the real form of damage for this entire team. Like, Logista has been so clutch throughout the entirety of this set that he's pretty much the guy you're gonna be looking to make that level of difference. Lucia though from the sidelines, now it's his turn. He's trying to shine his brightest here. He's wanting to try and go in for a kill, jumping about. He's gonna go in left, he's gonna go in right. Jimmy's gonna be the one to check down one more for himself. Lost from the sidelines, tapping away as long as he possibly can. Not gonna find that kill, but one of instead is gonna be the thing that shuts down ScarGod. 2 versus 3 situation on the map. It's gonna be Whitehorse trying to possibly get this. One on the left, one on the right. Bondev's gonna be able to find a beautiful headshot down on the one, and now it's all up to Jimmy. There's nothing that he can do. He's gonna get taken out. Beautiful shot from the face of Rossi. Shut him down immediately. 10-2, down going to a 10-3. And a good start from Flame On for their second half.
Certainly so. Certainly a start they would have wanted. They need a start they need. I mean, this is not just what they want. This is what they need right now because if not this, 3 more rounds, God Particles, they'll be taking a 2-0 win in this entire BO3. And the problem doesn't just lie with the fact that it's going to be a 2-0 win. On the contrary to Haven, which was just a 13-11 extremely close score with only a 2-round differential, something like a 13-5 is an 8-round differential, which obviously piles and bogs down a team even more when you consider the group standings and when you see the history of the Gauntlet and how quite literally in some cases round differentials are the deal breakers or the deal makers for many of these rosters going into the playoffs or not, where the real money's at. Right now, God Partners, they are on an eco. ScarGod did try to push into the bomb site all alone, didn't have much support, neither did Knight Rider as he falls on towards mid by the Spectre of Paradox. And
The
everyone
shot
from
card and the spray, dude. That's just sad.
yeah, just everyone from
Last
God
player
Particles
standing.
falling by the wayside. Going to be a flawless round. Just individual kills all over. Nothing much. That's done and dusted.
That's gonna be another round. 10-4, pretty much expected, especially when you do get that first initial pistol round. Ascend is one of the maps where you should be able to physically get the best possible opportunity to win out on your anti-ecos if you do not get bum rushed on over on the A side or the B side. Normally, to win an eco here, slow methodical play will never work. You cannot, and I repeat, you cannot play it individually and take a win. Either you try to overwhelm your opposition or you try to force them to make a rotation through a fake and then go in for a full-scale rush on towards the A side or the B side on these eco rounds. That's the advantage you're really trying to gain here, but for now at least, it's fine. They got a couple, they got 1 kill, no, not even a 1 kill. They got a flawless round for themselves, so in general, God Particles, they're not going to be happy about that. But what are they going to be happy about is the fact that they now have the buys.
Right
and
here.
on this buy round, they're able to retaliate quickly enough. Should give them a bit of an opportunity. It's ScarGod. How do you find that? With a spray from a Vandal?
Ascend always just has these kinds of plays. Nothing much can be said. Right now, well, Flame On, they are down to 3 members. The Pain Shells as well, forcing other members, forcing other defenders to evacuate. And so did that Sentry from Bondef, allowing him to get the kill. But now Bondef, well, one of the only people alive other than Lost. So both of them are there. They are looking for something, but this round is extremely difficult to come by. Lost. Okay, yeah, Scar got just a little too over eager. He gets one, but the trade is there for Logistra, and that is good. Leaving Bondef all isolated. He's looking for exit frags. He's right there in the corner. He gets one headshot. He is going into the bomb side, but he won't be getting any more. So, God Particles, they get their 11th round on board. They can start building, and this can be the beginning of the end for the side of, well, for the side of both of the teams, essentially. If this
Right
gets
here.
over, then that's that. There won't be any breeze. So, God Particles, I don't think they'd want to waste any more time. They want this to end right here, right now. But Flame On, they have to cling with whatever they have remaining, cling by the final few straws. And until and unless they break, they can stay in the game.
It's now their turn to try and figure something out and try to shine, and I do believe that Rossi on this operator, he's gonna be the one to bring in a real level of damage with Paradox on his side.
There they are.
Shivy is trying to bring in as much as he possibly can, but he's not even gonna be able to get a single kill from that Thunderous Fury. Location reveal, shot from the back. It's gonna be Bondef's turn to find one more on towards the face of White Horse. Last two players remaining. It's pretty much done and dusted. Logista, you've been such a clutch player for the entire team, but I don't think it's gonna be enough for you today. He fights too, but Flame On. He's surrounded from multiple different fronts. Footsteps on his left, footsteps on his right. Grave has been dug. And God Particles, they do lose out on this round, sending us over to an 11-5, but it's still a long road for Flame On to even think about equalizing. Even Stevens are nowhere around the corner just yet. God Particles, they still have enough to go in for a couple of semi-buys at the bare least. 3 members do have buys, and you know my silver lining whenever it comes to getting a buy in a game of Valorant. If 3 of your players can still buy weaponry, you can go in for a force, but optimally, it's better to go in for a save. Or just go in for semis, a couple of sheriffs and like 2 marshals. Like, marshals are insane. 950
with
credits for a weapon?
Yeah, exactly. From 1100 to 950. That was also good. Yeah, I have to say that right now God Particles have a lot of buffer time. So like you mentioned, I have to agree with it imminently that like Flame On, a lot has to happen before they can think about equalizing, before they can think about overtime. However, something similar to overtime is something that will be looming on over their heads for the entirety of the next 6, 8 rounds, whatever, is that God Particles are a single round away from match point. That's it. Single round away from match point. That's all they need. 1 round and they will have confirmed OT. Meanwhile, we have to win 7 rounds in order to get even a glimpse of match point or perhaps even an overtime. So they have a lot more work to do. And they know that no matter when that 1 round happens, God Particles will be quite literally on the edge of winning the entire map.
No.
As right now, Knight Rider was in the edge of that entrance. He will be peeking again. Rossi's there, but in this case, Knight Rider gets the kill. And we have other members of Flame On pushing through mid as well. That was Paradox. He got one, but White Horse with the classic gets the trade and picks up that Vandal. So it is still a 3 versus 3.
Logista. Yo, bro, you gotta take it easy a little bit there. He's gonna swing out completely. He's gonna try to take a fight. They're trying to surround Bondef from multiple different fronts, but they're not gonna be expecting it. White Horse, you're still switching guns, buddy. That's gonna hurt you a little bit. But now Knight Rider, he's already tasted blood. He wants more. He's probably gonna be able to find it. Just don't try to run away. You don't want to take this engagement, but the defenders, they're giving him the space because Lucia is going in for a massive flag. Lucia should be able to find a freebie for himself from the side, but still Knight Rider's not gonna be able to find that kill. It's 1 versus
Someone to his
2.
left.
Nothing that he can do. No. 4 HP. Easy shot. He's not gonna miss it.
Oh
Lost is
my
gonna be able to shut him down.
God.
Beautiful plays. And pretty
Jesus.
much his feelings got toyed with there. Knight Rider's like, come on, give me a fair fight. Fight like a man. Don't use your utility. But Lost is like, nope, I'm here to win. And there's no way I'm gonna be giving any form of an advantage to you after you took out my operator player.
Absolutely. And right now, well, both the teams, it was an interesting end to that round. Flame On, they were expecting a win. They did get their win. So now they do have those 6 rounds on board, but God Particles, now the economy has reset back. Now they can invest into better weaponry, armor, utility, and whatnot. So this can be one of those rounds. Otherwise, if they lose this, Yeah, that's the thing for God Particles is that there will be more and more pressure the more and more rounds we witness. If they lose this one, then it's going to be, oh, we have to eco again, and then we have to play again, and there's going to be more pressure. It's a constantly increasing pressure. And that's, I think, where mentally a big obstacle can lie for these players is that the more you play, the worse it will get for you, because the more it will be like, man, these guys are making a comeback. These guys are making a comeback. These guys are making a comeback. And what we witnessed on Haven is that Flamon were quite literally there, about to make a comeback, and God Particle stopped them at the last moment. Is it going to be the same case on Ascent? Nobody has an idea. Who knows? Maybe we go into an OT. Maybe God Particles get 12 rounds, but Flame On, they bring it into an OT, and then essentially, we see what happens in OT. So keeping that in mind, God Particles, I know I'm speaking like very like obvious things, but they have to end this as soon as possible, because the more they play, the more they'll be embroiled in misery for their own roster.
Not really much being done by them just yet. Rossi. He's holding on down from the top end corner, slowly but surely pushing his way up. Logista lays the ultimate in a pretty precarious situation. The back of side is still pretty much open, but with the lineup, he should be able to force out Bondef and just tag him down a little bit. That's gonna shut him down quite a lot. That level of chip damage is all that they need to bring this one back. Bondef taking so much. Bondef with only 36. He walks into the Nanostorm and he pays the price for it with his own life. Paddock on the sideline though shuts down Logista. That's gonna be good for him. Nitro, that's gonna be good for Watts. Brace should be good for a couple of more. But look at Paddock. He's walking away with murder, but he doesn't find that kill. It's all falling apart from them one by one. Lucia,
Standing.
I know you're good, buddy, but I don't think that's gonna happen. Rossi all by his lonesome. What can he bring down to the table? Not much. Other than pretty much one kill. 12 and 6. And when I press tab,
Point.
it's looking quite grim when it comes down to the buys as well, man, for the side of the defenders. Two of their members can't even go in for buys, and the other two are being forced onto half shields.
It is a difficult spot to be in. I mean, a modern philosopher once did say that. But well, right now, what we have to say is that it is pretty darn obvious that God Particles, they are looking better. I'm not saying they just have to win. I mean, it's not over until it's over. Seeing how Flame On played on Haven, I'm not calling anything before it happens. But as of now, God Particles are looking strong. Now, the attack which they have readied up, it's going to, I mean, they're trying to sell a sort of an A fake, but they don't have any bit of manpower or any footfall on any other parts of the map. More so, Rossi, look at the information he has gotten. He cleared out B main, he has cleared out mid. So, for a fact, thanks to visual confirmation from one of the players, Flame On now know. Either these guys are all stacked up on A main, or they are in attacker spawn, or they're top mid, which, well, that's exactly what Logister is. That cuts off half of the map. Look at where Bondef is playing. Look at where Rossi is playing. Flame On have cut the map in half, and God Particles now quite literally have to fight their way through it in order to regain that map. They are fighting, but as of now, with this one casualty, they are failing.
Concealment.
They're breaking apart slowly but surely here, but Paddocks, he's trying to figure something out.
30 seconds left.
If that was a headshot, it literally flew right past his head.
Down A.
Paddocks, he's just so good in these type of scenarios. He just does not miss his bullets. And the fact that he's able to do so much here is going to bring it all back for the side.
Player
Defenders.
standing.
And one by one, they're able to make it work. Even though they had the worst buys, they're still able to find so much value. Lucia just slaps Whitehorse in the face with a classic right click. Shuts him down immediately. And with that, it's a 12 and 7 here, CCP.
Flawless round, semi-buys on the board. I mean, that was a best case scenario for the side of Flame On right there. Because not only did they face no casualties, they just have so many guns on board. They don't have to buy anything. And I know there's no point talking too much about the Flame On economy, because it's not like there's going to be a next round or anything. The only economy we can talk about, the only credit economy we can talk about is God Particles. Because if Flame On lose one round, That's it. Done and dusted. There's no point. There's no eco. There's no full buy. None of that. But still, having all guns on board will be great. And one less gun on the side of God Particles will be even better now. Can Rossi make it two less gun on the side of God Particles? Yes, he surely can. Alongside Paradox, GP only have two members alive. Meanwhile, Flamon, they're still looking strong with three. But Jista has just been cornered off, guys. Scargod was in market. He infiltrated towards market. He got a cheeky little kill. But Flamon get another round for them.
Adults, man, as soon as this guy swings, he does not miss. If he has Peeker's advantage on his side, feels as though he's like an unstoppable force. Using the Ferrari peak to the best of its own capabilities here. He's able to do so much for him. And the way that it's working out, it's a 12-8 scoreline. We do see a pause coming on down through. The momentum has already been broken. This tech pause could just end up to be a horrible situation.
For whom? I mean, obviously, it can be for either one of these teams because God Particles they already have this losing streak going for them, and Flame On, they can just keep on piling on the pressure even more. And like I'm seeing, the more God Particles play in this situation, the more they see the round count going from 12, 6, 7, 8, 9, etc., etc., the more they'll be like the panic sets in the players. So, and for the side of Flame On, well, if something happens wrong, it only happens once. That's the good thing. You won't get to experience any bad things from this point forward because if you lose this one round, hey, at least the best of three is over. You can review this board, you can analyze what went wrong, and then focus on your next BO3 here in the Group B of Gauntlet. But right now, the tech pause is there. I believe Bondef, yeah, I think he has disconnected.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, with the LG Ultragear presents the Esports Club Gauntlet Season 4, powered by Crucial, and our apparel partners are 6x6. There was a little bit of a technical difficulty with a 1-second internet delay, so it was a little bit of a problematic situation, but don't really worry about it. We're going to be jumping straight on over towards the scoreboard, regardless of the scenario. And as you can see from the stats, we have to say that both of these teams, they played it really beautifully, but at the very end, Flame On, it just didn't work out for them.
That is true. Both these teams they gave it their little best, and you absolutely have to like give credits to them. Both God Particles and Flame On. I have to agree that the performances they gave today, obviously God Particles they took the win. We didn't see the final round, but still, regardless, they took the win, and that was the
Yep.
more important thing because it was a 2-0 victory. And looking at these performances as well, I think individually all of these players they were just great on the board. Not to mention that the side of Flame On, yeah, they did try their best. I think Haven was a far, far better showing than the map of Ascent. So I have to say, because of that reason, Haven just, I can see the reason why the side of Flame On would have picked that map. In this case as well, it was Paradox who was getting the most kills. Lost, he had a bit of a quieter day
Insane.
when you compare it to his earlier map of Haven. But still, Paradox picked up a lot of the deficit that Lost gave up. And with 20 kills, Nitride as well with 22, there were some good MVPs, absolutely deserving MVPs.
Yeah, that is for sure. It was a rough one for both of these teams to try and get on back from, but for Flame On, I think they were just a little bit too. They were like a fish out of the water, I would say. That's the best analogy that you can give for this one. because on Ascent it really did feel they had no idea where to go in multiple different scenarios, and that's why they just fell apart. God Particles, it was their home map for a reason. That's one of the prime reasons why this did happen to them. 13 and 11 on the scorecard as we do go in for the map recap on map number 1. 13 and 8 for them on map number 2. And personally, I will say that Flamon as a team, I see a lot of potential and I see a lot of opportunities for them to grow here. You got to remember that this time in the Gauntlet, you can pretty much get away with anything and everything. And you also do have to remember about another thing entirely as well here, that looking at all of these different teams and looking at
Right.
how the rosters have been set up in the group stages and the group standings as well, which we're going to be going into real soon, that consider this. You have a lot of chances to grow, and pretty much the first 4 positions on the group standings as we head on down over onto that screen, it's pretty much up for the grabs for anyone. What we do know,
Uh-huh.
though, personally, is what the top 2 teams are going to look like. Enigma are going to be there, guaranteed.
Sure. For
Like,
sure.
guaranteed Enigma are going to be there. There's like no
That
way
is
they're
true.
not going to reach that.
Mm-hmm.
And now, what's going to happen to number 2, number 3, and number 4?
It is an interesting show.
Should
Absolutely.
be God
Like,
Particles, right? On number 2.
If I'm thinking like that, I mean, all the candidates right here, they are looking, they have the potential. Everyone here has the potential in Group B to take that number two spot. But who will take that spot? That is a very interesting argument. In my eyes, I mean, there's just so much to consider. Even a team such as Oculus 5. I think with the changes they've had, Sai joining, Wimp is there, you've got Vexy, Blackhawk, like they also have the potential. They certainly have the experience in the players. They have like the tier one players with them as well. But as a roster, they are far newer than some of the names we have in Group B. So number two is certainly going to be a highly contested spot. Number one, okay, yeah, I mean, I think we all can agree that rationally Enigma certainly look like the favorites to top this table. And I don't think we'll be seeing a repeat of what happened in the previous season where they were like just clear wins for multiple teams. There was Team EXO who had like a perfect run. VLT had the same as well. But in this case, I think with how these 2 days of the gauntlet, the initial 2 days, it's only been 4 best of 3s aggressive. And
Yeah.
already, look at the amount of action we've seen 13 11s, 13 11s, multiple ones, great action overall. And well, hey, that's exactly what the LG Ultra Gear presents, brings to you, which is powered by Crucial with our apparel partner 656. But for now, for day 2 aggressive, it all comes to an end. And great set of matches we witnessed today. Tomorrow as well, we will be back. A lot will be happening. So make sure you are subscribed to the Esports Club channel. Make sure you follow us on all our socials, and you follow the teams as well so you don't miss any set of matches that will be taking place. We'll see you later. For now, take care. Bye-bye.